Yo, what up? It's Eli.
Jason.
It's Noah.
And today we're back here with another episode on Senior Season.
And today we're going to be interviewing the man,
The myth.
The legend.
Mr. Santucci.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on. I don't think I deserve an intro like that, but I appreciate it coming from you guys.
Yeah, no problem. You've done a lot here at St. Pat's. You came here our freshman year, and, you're a brand new face to everyone. Take us through, that first day, just coming back to St. Pat's. Why did you come back to St. Pat's and help out so much?
Yeah, it's a great question. Obviously, the school meant a lot to me. So when the opportunity came to come back and be the president, it really hit home and made me think of my time here, like you guys, walking the hallways and being with our teachers and our coaches and being together, right, as brothers. And it really inspired me to want to come back and give back and try to make the school the best it can be. So it was a big decision because with 5 kids and, living in South Bend, Indiana at the time, and everyone kind of had their thing going and everything was going well. But sometimes God comes calling and there's a new vision for you and your family. And my wife and I, we went all in and we couldn't be more excited. And back to the first class, I kind of inherited you guys in a way because I didn't know any of you till I got here. But I was blessed to have a good group of, now you guys are seniors, but a good first group, and appreciate all you guys are doing for the school.
As we interviewed some people and sometimes coaches and stuff, especially on the football team, tell us like you made a big impact coming back. Like people say that Pats was in a sort of slump, and they say that you were the right person at the right time to bring us back to how many students we have now, and and our hallways are packed, and but people say that there was sort of that slump. Did that also impact your decision to come back to Pats?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, hey, Dr. Joe and his administration, they did a phenomenal job, right? When I was here in 2002, he was the principal, and I couldn't ask for a better principal in our school. And Brother Conrad was the president and was doing a phenomenal job. And, I think after 54 years being in one place, it's I think it's challenging, right, to always think of how can I continue to be innovative? How can I continue to have that energy? How could I, and as someone's getting older, on top of that, it's difficult. So, when he called me, which I give him a ton of credit, the search committee and Dr. Joe called me about this position and kind of told me where the school was at, and they really thought I could come back and help bring it back to where it should be. It was definitely inspiring and a challenge, again, that I wanted to take because I care so much about this place. And, we're the oldest all-boys school in Chicago, 164 years. And that's where, that's special, right? There's not many schools that could say that. We have the greatest alumni around. You guys could tell by the way they come back to games, and they give financially to support so many of our boys in this building and to different projects. So, but yeah, that challenge definitely inspired me, right? As a former athlete, I love to compete. I want to win. And we hit the ground running, and we've been blessed that enrollment's going up year over year. But again, it's a lot of what you guys are doing. You guys are setting the example. When we bring shadows in here, you guys are great to them. I love seeing seniors talk to freshmen and seniors talk to sophomores, and we got a great group of young men, and I really appreciate that. But yeah, that challenge was definitely a big part of why I came back.
Oh, yeah, I got a question now. You're a big Notre Dame college football fan, right?
I am.
How about that game?
That game was pretty disappointing, Jason, pretty disappointing. Yeah, as a former player, obviously, of the Irish, it's I'm obviously a fan, right? I mean, I don't take it as hard as when I played. I think a lot of, alums probably take it a lot harder than I take it, but after playing on that field and how much I cared then when you're actually out there doing it, now again, I want it for the boys. I want it for the program. I want it for, because I'm an alum of the school. But, yeah, that was a tough game. But, hey, kudos to Northern Illinois. They came to play. And, hey, it just shows you sitting in this room why you play every game, right? And why it's important that every game you're giving it your best, and you can't take anyone lightly.
Yeah, you can't. Big upset, number 5 goes down, and Northern Illinois is ranked now. So, you played ACC football. That's really big. Give us a day in the life, at Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame was a special experience, right? I growing up here on the Northwest side and hey, I always wanted to play Division I football, as I became, sophomore, junior, senior here, and I kind of saw that, hey, that might be a possibility. And I hate the greatest coaches, Coach Lucas and Coach Golani and many others who I'm not mentioning right now, but Coach Harrington, who's back in the building, Coach Mertens. A lot of the guys that are here now had a big effect on my life and really instilled that positive attitude of like, hey, you could do this, and you have the right work ethic. And so when I got to Notre Dame, it was big, right? It was the lights were on, and you go right in as a freshman, and you're playing with seniors who are grown men. All right, so like, you have no time to kind of like just wait around and kind of get the feel for it. You get thrown right into the fire, but it was an awesome experience. I redshirted my first year, got to put on some weight, work out, get to know the offense and defense. Then I was playing D-line at the time, and then I had a coaching change. I went through kind of a few coaching changes while I was there. 3 head coaches technically, and a few O-line coaches. But hey, that makes you resilient, right? And if you buy into what that coach is telling you and you go all in and work hard, good things will happen. So it was an unbelievable experience running out of that tunnel. Being able to start 26 games and playing 2 BCS bowl games against, Ohio State, LSU. The USC 2005 Bush game was still the greatest game I was ever a part of, even though we lost. I mean, it was like being in the Super Bowl, right? We come out of the tunnel. We went back in. We put on the green jerseys. It was a big surprise. We're all fired up. We run out. It's kind of an overcast day, just getting dark and just lights flashing, cameras everywhere. And, I mean, hey, they had an all-American team that we went against, and we were right there to the end and had every chance to win. So a lot of big games like that, which is pretty cool.
Just to piggyback off of Elias, yesterday when we were in our D-line meeting, after it finished, Coach Luke told me to ask you about your junior year and the ND coach Madison and McGargle when you guys were in Coach Luke's old office. He told me to ask you about how that feeling was when the coach was describing to you about like what Notre Dame was, like how it's like 2 powerhouses of like an all-state center and like an old lineman like going at it and the dust particles like coming off of the helmet. That's what he told me to ask you about that story and how you felt at that time.
Yeah, Coach Luke, he's the best. He was a part of that. We had a lot of coaches coming in to talk to Timmy and myself, and which was awesome. And yeah, Greg Madison, he was the defensive line coach at the time, and he was a hell of a recruiter. He came in, and the stories he would tell, just I got goosebumps right now to think back of. He was there at Notre Dame a long time, coached some unbelievable players, and when he talked about the tradition and the gold helmets, and it's true. You would literally see, like, if there was a big hit, you'd see gold sparks because they used to paint the helmets every Friday night. They don't do that anymore. Those shiny ones, they're new, but the trainers used to paint the helmets every Friday night before the game. And maybe it was Thursday night, but they would paint them. And during the game, and this happened to me a lot when I was playing guard because I would pull. I mean, you would literally see gold particles, after you had a big hit, just kind of going in the air. So, no, it was awesome. Like, those stories, meeting those coaches, and then going to campus for a few games. It was really the hook, line, and sinker. And what a special place. Coming from a Catholic school at St. Pat's to go 2 hours away, where I knew my family could come up every weekend to watch me play. You're on national television. And then obviously a phenomenal education, right? Which is most important. So it was the recruiting experience was awesome though.
So besides from Notre Dame, how many other offers did you have?
Yeah, no. So I had a few MAC offers, and then Notre Dame came, and they wanted to offer me, but they asked us to go for Tim and I to go to the camp. And to be honest, we both went out to the camp, and we drove down together. It was a 3-day camp, but we were kind of asked to go. So you kind of tell you were in a separate group.
Yeah.
And Tim McGargle, I mean, he tore it up. I mean, he was the fastest linebacker there. Was crushing drills. I was the fastest at the time D lineman there. So we both did really well in all our testing, and they took us around, and I'll never forget. They took us down to the stadium at night. And like probably 3 or 4 of us were at the camp, and they had our name on the scoreboard and took us to the middle of the field, and it was pretty cool, right? So I was like, wow, this is awesome. But didn't know what was going to happen. And then, The last day at camp, Coach Davey, who was the head coach at the time, said he wanted to talk to me in his office, and then that's when they offered me a full scholarship. And, unfortunately, who was even more deserving was my best friend, Tim McGargle, and he didn't get offered, and we drove home, and that was his favorite school growing up. And, again, he deserved it more. He's a phenomenal, the best player I ever played with, and the best player I ever played at St. Pat's, in my eyes for sure. But his work ethic and toughness and was unbelievable. But anyway, we wrote, as best friends, we drive home together, and it was an interesting ride, right? Like I was excited, but I felt for Tim, and but hey, it all worked out. He ended up getting a full ride to Northwestern and was the Division I leading tackler for a long, long time. It was just broke last year or 2 years ago by someone at Troy, but it was COVID, and he played like 6 years. So it wasn't really fair because Tim did it in 4 years. But anyway, then I started. But it was interesting about the recruiting is after Notre Dame offered, then all of a sudden more schools are calling and want to offer. But I did commit. Greg Madison, back to him, he didn't let you sit too long on the offer. He started saying, hey, you better commit to us or we're going to pull it, or, just little pokes like that. And back then it wasn't like now. Like once you had an offer and you committed, it was, even if God forbid I got hurt, like the offer was good. So it's a way different landscape now. But it was calls that Nebraska came in, Northwestern, but I committed to Notre Dame about maybe 3 weeks after they offered me.
And my second question was gonna be, what's like the coolest thing you've seen on like a recruiting visit? Like you said, they put your name on the board and stuff. Like,
yeah, it's really cool. I mean, that whole trip was awesome. You go in the locker room, they got your name with a number. You try on all the uniform. You go around with all the players. They take you out on the town a little bit. You have some fun. But it's just a really great dinners, right? Like you have awesome dinners at the best steakhouses, and they really kind of treat you really, really well. But it's just you get a feel for the guys too, which is nice. They put you with a lot of the players and just see, hey, does this feel like this is gonna be home for me? But yeah, I was all in. That was the only official visit I took, and but once Coach Davey got fired, it was interesting because I was still at St. Pat's because I committed my junior year. So my senior year, Coach Davey gets fired, and they actually hired Coach O'Leary. You guys probably don't remember this, but he was coming to see me. He was coming from Georgia Tech, and he was going to fly into O'Hare and stop by, and they would see their commits. And he literally got fired like 3 days after he got hired because they found out he lied on his resume. So I'll never forget. Coach Luke called me down. I'm sitting in class, and someone comes with a slip like, "Hey, Coach Luke needs to see you," and he's like, "Your coach just got fired." I'm like, "What do you mean? He just got hired 3 days ago." And then he told me the whole story. And then Willingham came in, and but I wasn't going anywhere. Greg Madison was staying. Again, Notre Dame, the full package. Academics and close to home, Catholic, the whole thing. So I was pretty solid on my commitment.
Like you said, like Tim McGargle was like one of your best buds here at St. Pat's. And those best memories you keep forever. What's the best memory with you and Tim here at St. Pat's?
So we had a lot of memories. I'll never forget though. Freshman year, we're playing Joliet Catholic, and we went undefeated. Coach Smalis was actually our head coach. So this is all right. And Tim never came off the field, right? Like he was linebacker, running back, running around like crazy. So anyway, he comes back to the huddle after a play, and I literally see his teeth, hanging out his bottom lip. He's bleeding everywhere. I'm like, "Tim, you better go out." He's like, I'm not going out. There's no way I'm going out. And he just put his mouthpiece back in and went at it. So, we had some unbelievable times together. I mean, obviously some huge games, and just even better times just hanging out together. And he was. I think the coolest part is Tim and I lifted together and worked out all the time. So whether it was here at St. Pat's or at Export, over holiday breaks, I mean, I don't think we ever took more than a day or two off, which I'm not saying was a good thing, but we just loved it. And we would go together and then go grab lunch and stuff. So all those memories, it was great to have someone. I had the greatest teammates, but Tim and I we both had this vision, right? And we knew it was a possibility we can go play D1. And to have someone, to have each other to push one another. I mean, we would get here at 5:45 and wait for Mr. Glorioso. He'd open the gym for us every morning at 6 a.m. so we could run sprints in the winter. And we loved it. It wasn't, we just had that dedication. But to have each other, to push each other was really helpful. So, yeah, now he's the D coordinator at Northwestern. go Cats. It's great to see him moving up, and he's going to have a heck of a year, and I think he'll be a head coach here in a few years.
So, like, obviously, Notre Dame and St. Pat's, and then the NFL. Could you talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, that was a very interesting process. So I'm playing at Notre Dame. I'm having some good seasons. So now you start trying to keep that away from you because you want to focus on the season. But you start looking, agents start calling. So you got to pick an agent, and then they start sending you rankings of, I think I was like the 10th best guard in the country. And, okay, well, where does that guy go? And then the agent tells you, hey, you're going to go, you might go 4th round. You might go 5th round. If someone really falls in love with you, you may go 3rd round. So it was a very fun but stressful process, and especially when you want to focus on, Notre Dame in my senior year, which I was able to do. I didn't really let that get in the way. But then after the season, the agent, you start talking about, so I went and trained in Florida, before I got invited to the combine, which was a really cool experience. That's a really awesome experience. And went and trained in Davie, Florida, right outside of Fort Lauderdale. Awesome experience. You're with a trainer for 6 weeks. They make all your meals. So you get all, strong and as lean as you need to get or gain weight because they really have you on a strict plan. And then the draft comes. And now you're sitting there going, man, what round am I going to go? So I knew the first day I had no shot, But then the second day I'm like, am I going to go early or, 4th, 5th, 6th round? And all of a sudden you get in the 5th round, your name's not called, 6th round. And, my mom wanted to have like a little party for everyone that meant, was a big part of this, in my life. And I'm like, Mom, we're having no party until my name gets called because I don't know what's going to happen. So 6th round comes around, and now they're starting to take kickers, and they're just taking athletes because that's what the teams are supposed to do. And I'm like, who knows? And finally I got a call from I actually got a call from the Panthers and the Eagles about if it doesn't work out, a free agent, like a free agent opportunity. But then finally I got a call from Marvin Lewis and the Bengals and got drafted in the 7th round. And hey, I made, it was like, I think it was 230 or 232. I think the draft is like 255. So I was right at the end, but hey, it was still a dream come true. I mean, to get drafted was definitely a goal. And it was great when I got that call and they kind of just said, hey Dan, how's it going? And I'm like, hey, it's going well. He's like, do you want to be a Bengal? I'm like, of course, I'll be a Bengal. Let's go. So went to Cincinnati, and what a great town, what a great city. Still go back to a game every year. My kids are diehard Bengal fans, so they take care of me. Mr. Troy Blackburn really, hooks us up with tickets, which is really nice when you're bringing a family of 7, how expensive everything is. But great organization, couldn't ask for a better place to play, wonderful city, and we had a great time. My wife and I had a wonderful time there, and but it was a great experience. But you want to talk about playing with the best. In the NFL, there's not a bad guy on that field. So even the guys who aren't playing, it's because the other guy in front of them might be a touch better or maybe just got drafted higher and there's more money. The money becomes a big issue, but they're all players. And I'll tell you one quick story. I remember at practice, Tank Johnson, I don't know if you guys remember his name, but he was a Bear for a while. Cowboy Bear, and he's a veteran though, and I'm just trying to make the team, right? I'm like, I just want to get on this team. So I'm practicing all hard, and I'm playing center, and he's playing D tackle, and I got him pretty good, and he's like, don't you ever do that again, because these guys, again, some of them get comfortable and they don't want to practice as hard and stuff, but you feel your way out. But there was a lot of great memories, but it was definitely a business, right? I would say out of high school, it's the most genuine of the game, right? I mean, it's so pure, and you're playing with all your buddies, and all you care about is winning, all right? College, it's a little bit more than that. There's obviously a ton more fans, but it's, again, you're playing for your school and playing for each other. There was no money back then. All we had was our scholarship. We couldn't even – I remember getting a Chipotle burrito for free once, and I got called into the compliance office. It was – we weren't able to do any of the stuff they do now. So, again, you're playing for each other and playing for your school. And then the NFL, you're playing for that team, but you're playing for yourself too, because that's your livelihood, and you could kind of feel that. So – really cool experience. I got to experience all three, made some unbelievable friends. And, hey, I believe football is the greatest sport because of what it teaches you to be a man and all the tough times you got to go through and the tough workouts. And I'm glad the sport's gaining some, I feel like it's coming back at the younger levels. There's more teams going, and it's great. I love all sports. I love baseball, basketball. I played them all. But football, there's something about it that I really I feel special.
Now, and just last question. This one comes from Coach Luke. He said that you were on the first season of Hard Knocks, and that you were talking to, I think Chad Ochocinco came up to you and was talking to you. He said you were probably one of the funniest guys on like the first episode of the first season.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I was on the first season. I had 2 little clips. I was blocking on one play, and then I got hurt, unfortunately, and I was getting treatment. And Chad Johnson, or Ochocinco now, came in there kind of busting my chops a little bit. So I told him, get out of here. Like, and no, he was a great guy. I mean, some of those guys, that's another thing, like, Ochocinco and all these, some of these guys get bad raps because, they're big in the media. There's not anyone that worked harder than that guy. I mean, he didn't want to come out of practice for a second. He would fight for third-team reps. He never wanted to get out. He did eat McDonald's every morning for breakfast, which is pretty – everyone kind of always asks that. But, no, great guys. Andrew Whitworth was a good buddy of mine. He's on – if you guys watch Thursday Night Football, he's on Prime, Prime Video there. And just great guy. So glad he got a Super Bowl, and great family. And, yeah, just met some great friends that I, keep in touch with just through text. But now with 5 kids of my own and all you guys, there's not much time. So
yeah. Okay, last question. You're on Hard Knocks, and you ever see those episodes? The players, they do karaoke. What would your one song be if you had the chance to do that karaoke segment?
Oh man, I'm not a big music guy. What would my one song have been? Probably a Bon Jovi song. I think he's saying "Jump," right?
That was Van Halen.
That's Van Halen.
All right.
That's Van Halen.
Look at that. I don't even know my music. So Van Halen, I went to a lot of Cubs games growing up. They used to run out to that song. But, the rookie dinner, the rookie music nights were fun. And rookie dinners, too.
How much was your tab?
Rookie dinner, they took it, and I was a 7-round pick, so mine was like $4,000. But I will say the following year when Andre Smith was a first-round pick, they rang him up for $20,000. And it is funny, but man, it's such a waste. They just keep ordering stuff, and it was just the old lineman, Carson Palmer, and the running back, and that's it, $20,000 at one meal.
Must have been good then, right?
It was very good. It was very good for sure. But hey, that's part of it. It's part of it. It's fun, and I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for coming out, for sure.
Yeah, it means a lot to us. But yeah, if any last words before you leave?
Hey, I'm so happy to be back home at St. Patrick High School. I'm proud of you guys. I want this year to go slow because then before you know it, you guys will be graduating and going on to college and off to bigger and better things. But let's have a great year, and let's keep building the school we love. All right? Let's have a great year. Go Rocks.
All right. So UFC 306 this weekend, Sugar Sean fighting this weekend. Big event.
Who's he fighting?
I actually don't know. Let's look that up.
Oh my
it's some dude. Pickle was talking to me about it. It's like some crazy.
Speaking of Pickle,
it's some crazy.
Who are you
dude.
taking to homecoming now, Noah?
I don't know yet. Shout
Can
out.
you
Pickle.
tell us the story about that?
Well, I was trying to be the.
Really get into it. Let the viewers know how you feel.
I was a classy man, and Pickle.
Don't
just,
say names. You can say Pickle, but don't say.
Pickle just was just being like the classier fella, like way better than I was, and one thing led to another, and I ended up telling Shorty that I couldn't take her anymore, and that Pickle wanted to take her, and the rest is history.
Yeah, but you can't worry about that stuff now. You got a big football game tonight.
Football game. Don't let none of that get to your head.
Yeah, I know. We got Leo at St. Rita. How you feeling about this game, Noah?
I'm feeling hype. I feel like we're going to be coming out there a better, stronger team, obviously. As long as if everyone plays their position and does what they have to do, then it's an automatic W.
Yeah, and then tonight we got Arizona, Kansas State. Big game, too. We got. What's the plan for the weekend, guys? It's Friday. What's the plan?
Have a watch party somewhere?
I say Sunday.
St. Pat's Leo game?
I think we're going on. I don't know.
Some people were saying that you guys were actually going to go to the game.
Yeah, I don't know. We're deciding on it.
Well, I say we actually should watch somewhere, like at someone's house on Sunday, the Bears.
The Bears game. Yeah, it's
because they're wearing orange jerseys for they play the Texans.
Yeah, they play on prime time.
That's
7:20.
Yeah, that's actually gonna be a good game. It's gonna be C.J. Stroud and Caleb Williams, and hopefully we can actually do something in the air this game.
Yeah, no, and not suck. Not pass for 92 yards and have our receivers drop every ball that's to them. But yeah. And, hopefully we get that. It'll be a big win for the Bears if they win that game. It'll prove something to Chicago elite, and then Matt Eberflus, bro. I don't know what he's doing, but all right. Thank you for tuning in here on Seazon, and we'll see y'all. Peace.
Peace.